Welcome to our presentation on preventing communication disorders for your preschool child. We are speech language pathologists and we are happy to be here today. So today we will discuss developmental milestones from birth to your child's age now, and we would also like to provide some strategies to prevent communication disorders or delays. Okay, so first we're going to start with some developmental milestones. So what should your child be able to do at different ages?
Okay, firstly, I will talk about normal development of listening skills in your infants. So, 0 to 3 months, your child will react to loud sounds with a startle response. These reactions are going to be limited to large, purely reflexive responses. They will wake up from sleep if the sound is loud enough. Recognizes mother's voice. The infant will stop crying to listen to familiar voices and will even be soothed by them. When feeding, changes sucking patterns in response to sound. Specifically, the baby will start or stop sucking, especially when hearing new sounds. From 3 to 6 months, your infant looks for the source of sounds with eyes. Shows some head turns and sound searching, but still wobbly, so it will look like a rudimentary head turn with no full control of the movements. Attends to noise makers. Most babies will enjoy the sound of musical toys, such as bells or rattles. Your baby will begin differentiating between environmental and speech sounds. This skill is very important for the child's development of speech and language. If a child cannot clearly hear and recognize the speech sounds, he or she will not be able to learn how to make those sounds. The child needs that input to be able to learn language. From 6 to 9 months, your child will respond to changes in the tone of your voice and responds and listens when spoken to. And then they will turn and look in the direction of sounds. The baby will start to directly locate a sound to the side. This will occur in between 6 to 12 months. And also your baby will enjoy music and singing. From 9 to 12 months, they will respond physically to music, and they will respond to questions by searching and understand simple sentences. Next, normal development of speaking skills in your infants. 0 to 3 months, most actions are reflexive to the physical state of the infant. So these would include crying, coughs, and burps. They may also make sounds like grunts and sighs, which are associated with activity. They will make noises associated with feeding, example, clicks, and they'll make single vowel sounds, ah. From 3 to 6 months, they will make cooing or gurgling sounds when alone and during play. They will laugh, and they will vocalize two sounds together. For example, ma or ba. They will vary loudness, pitch, and duration of the sounds. From 6 to 9 months, they will babble strings of consonants and vowels. At first, this usually takes the form as a consonant and vowel. These strings of sounds get more complex as the child steadily ages. From 9 to 12 months, your baby begins changing babbling to real words, and they will continue imitating sounds and begin using more vowels and consonants. Normal development of language skills in your infants. From 0 to 3 months, your child will attend to speaker's mouth or eyes. They will express feelings by crying, and their crying will be differentiated. So they may cry for a specific reason, such as they are hungry or they are tired. From 3 to 6 months, they will smile a speaker. They will express feelings by cooing and gurgling, and they will laugh and show pleasure and displeasure by vocalizing. From 6 to 9 months, they will recognize names of family members. They will attend to pictures and books. This is why books are very important to read to your child. They will use gestures, and they will vocalize during games and sing along with a familiar song. From 9 to 12 months, they look at named pictures with an adult. This is collectively known as joint attention, which is very important for the development of your child's language. They will give objects upon verbal request, and they will use social gestures such as waving and saying bye-bye, or waving bye-bye, and they will tend to new words and vocalize with intent frequently.
Okay, so at this point, your child will start doing things like knowing parts of the body and being able to point to them when asked. So if you say nose or hand or foot, the child will know which part you're talking about and be able to point to it. They will enjoy simple stories and songs, begin putting two words together, things like more cookie, more juice, and other similar combinations to that. And they will start using 1 or 2 word questions and asking many different questions. And they will be able to use and understand the word no and also the word more. And also in this time frame, they are continuously gaining new words. So every day and all the time, they're acquiring new words and beginning to use new words. They will also be able to follow simple commands like roll the ball, and then understand simple questions like where's your shoe. So if you ask them a simple question like that, they should be able to understand and know what you're talking about. And then if you're looking at a book with the child, they can point to the pictures when named. So if you say, when you're looking at the book, here's the dog or something like that, they should be able to point to the dog and things like that. And then they should also be able to recognize and name common objects like toys, shoes, clothes, things like that. Tell you when they want an object, and then they will also be using different consonant sounds at the beginning of words. So things like b, p, sounds like that at the beginning of words. And then in the 2 to 3 year age range, they'll use 2 or 3 word phrases or sentences, things like mommy go bye-bye and short sentences like that. They have a word for almost everything, and they will be able to answer routine questions, begin understanding concepts such as big and little. They will refer to themselves as me instead of calling themselves by their name. And then they're also beginning to use words and talk more to tell you when something's wrong and to solve problems instead of just crying. And also, they will begin talking in a way that can be understood by family members, talk to other children and adults, be able to tell you their first name and hold up fingers to tell you how old they are. They have a vocabulary of about 450 words. They start combining nouns and verbs. So things like daddy run, mommy go, things like that. And then they can follow 2 requests. So open the drawer and get your shirt. 2 things in a row that you're telling them. They should be able to do both. And then understand simple concepts of time, like last night and tomorrow. And they will have conversations with themselves and a doll or stuffed animal while they're playing. And then they like to hear stories repeated. Okay, and then 3 to 4 years old, They will understand words for some colors, red, green, blue, common colors. They'll start to recognize those words and what that means, and then understand words for some shapes like circle and triangle. They will understand words for family members like sister and brother and recognize that when you say sister or brother, who you're referring to. Their vocabulary has expanded to about 1,000 words. They will know their first and last name and several nursery rhymes. Also know the street that they live on. They can talk to you about what happened during the day and use sentences with 4 or more words. Ask when and how questions. Say rhyming words, things like cat, hat, bag, rag, just small words like that. They recognize the rhyming. Use pronouns like I, me, you, some of those simple ones like that. They will use some plural words. They start adding the S like dogs, cats, things like that. They can speak easily without repeating syllables and words. Use around 4 sentences at a time. So if they're telling you a story about what happened during the day, they can usually string together about 4 sentences. And then by this point, people outside of the family that don't see them on a daily basis should be able to understand them.
Okay, so the developmental information that was just presented to you guys is very important for you to know about your child. That way you can notice anything that they might not be doing yet, and so that can kind of give a red flag for you to have your child seen. But I would like to present you guys with some techniques and activities for enhancing your child's language. And this is important to provide opportunities for enhancing your child's language because it allows your preschooler to grow and be ready to begin kindergarten. So how would we do this? How would we provide opportunities for your child to grow their language abilities? So talk to your child by having simple, intentional face-to-face conversations, using clear speech and allowing your child to talk freely. Be sure you're paying close attention and try to be free of distractions while you're talking. Simply talking to your child can really create an opportunity for language enhancement. Oftentimes, we may seem too busy or unable to just take time to talk with our children. Oftentimes, parents might not talk directly to their child, but talk at their child. The difference is when talking to your child, it's more of a conversation in which both of you are talking about something that took place. For example, how your child feels at that time about something that could have occurred. Whereas when talking at your child, it usually means giving a command or making a statement or providing correction of some sort and not expecting any response. When you talk to your child, she or he is able to talk back and forth with you and let you know how they are doing and allows for opportunities for your child to tell you all about something. By talking to your child, he or she will realize this is a time when they can express themselves to you. This is important in creating those opportunities for your child's vocabulary to grow by being able to use words and express themselves. When talking to your child, again, be sure to pay close attention and not have any distractions. Oftentimes, we're not really paying full attention to the child when they talk. So things like texting or talking on the phone should be avoided whenever you're trying to have a meaningful conversation with your child. Also, be sure to use clear speech and be a good speech model for your child. Opening up your ears to hear what your child is saying lets them know you care about what they have to say and will create many opportunities for language growth. Another way to enhance your child's language is to start using routines as a part of everyday interaction with your child. You can do this by establishing a morning, afternoon, and nighttime routine. Have at least one sit-down meal together per day, and be consistent with the use of your routines. Routines provide structure for children by giving them a better understanding of the world around them. When children use routines, they should be more relaxed and are able to explore the environment more freely. They're more comfortable with the things around them. Introducing routines into everyday life may seem like a difficult task, but you can always start simple. The first step would be to establish a routine for in the morning. So, to help you start your day off on the right foot, the first thing you could do would be to wake your child up, make them breakfast, help them brush their teeth, and get their things ready for school. And it may differ based on your household. Okay, and some more activities to enhance your child's language are things like singing nursery rhymes and songs with your child to show them the rhythm and patterns of our speech. So that will get them familiar with the way our speech is made up. So also retelling or making up stories using pictures of familiar people or places can be another way to enhance your child's language. You can also help your child ask and understand questions. Repeat over what your child has said to show him or her that you understand. And also, build and expand on what your child says. For example, if your child says, "Mommy, go," you could say, "Yes, Mommy is going to the store," to give them more of a background information of what you're doing and provide them with more vocabulary to learn from. And I also have put a list of nursery rhymes on this slide because they, again, help the child learn the rhythm and patterns of our speech.
Okay, now we would like to talk about another technique to use with your child. Books are a great thing to use when teaching your child about language. Reading books aloud to your children can help stimulate their imagination and expand their understanding of the world. It can also help them develop language and listening skills and prepare them to be able to progress from preschool to kindergarten. Reading together has been proven to help your child develop those foundational language and listening skills, stimulate your children to ask questions about what's going on in the story and why the characters are doing certain things. Reading together can teach your preschooler that words rhyme. Dr. Seuss books such as Green Eggs and Ham and The Cat in the Hat are great books to read to expose your child to these rhyming words. Reading together can teach your preschooler that things can be grouped together in categories such as clothes and food. A great resource to take advantage of in your hometown is the public library. You can go to a public library for fun, free reading activities. Public libraries often have a great selection of children's books, and they even have play areas where you and your child can go to read together instead of staying at home. The library often has children's areas, which consist of posters of characters from books and movies that your child can look at, bright letter blocks to help teach them the alphabet, and sometimes they even have reading camps in the summer for your child. By reading books, your child can witness the interactions between the characters in the books, as well as the contact with you during story time, which enables your child to learn valuable communication skills. Studies show that students who love learning and do well in preschool and kindergarten were exposed to reading at a young age. Books help teach your child about relationships, situations, personalities, and what is good and bad in the world. These topics are very important to begin teaching your child as they are preparing to enter preschool and kindergarten. Grocery shopping is another fun activity that you can do with your child. I know a lot of times it may seem stressful to load your toddler up in the grocery cart and take them around Walmart, but the next time maybe these techniques will help you approach that in a different way. So taking your child to the grocery store can help expand their vocabulary. You can use this time to teach them different categories of food, such as fruits and vegetables, breakfast foods, and dinner foods. The grocery store has endless possibilities and ways to teach your children. For instance, you can talk about how tomatoes are red, grapes are green, and yellow pineapples. It's the perfect time to teach your child and allow them to ask questions about what they see. Another Another technique to use would be during bath time. Bath time is a wonderful time to teach your child anything that comes to mind. You can talk to them about how their day was, what they did at school. You can also teach them what you are doing and why you are doing it while giving them a bath. You can teach them about the different parts of taking a bath, such as washing off, drying, and cleaning up, so that they are able to comprehend doing things in a sequential order. When you bathe your child, you can use this time to teach them words and concepts like sinking and floating, wet versus dry, and clean versus dirty. You can also use alphabet letters or numbers that stick to the tub to begin teaching your child the alphabet, and it also helps them learn how to recognize numbers. Taking your child to a public park is also a great way to allow them to interact with other children and learn how to play well with others. This is especially a good idea for an only child. Turn-taking, introductions, imaginative play are all great skills that can be developed by taking your children to a public park.
Okay, so this is a handout that we would like all of you to have. That way you can go home and remember everything we've talked about. So I have at the top the first 12 months, as we talked about at the beginning, and those are things that you can reflect on. Go back and think about your child when they were at that age. Did they meet those steps at that time, or was it a little later? Maybe that it was delayed. And then also look at the years for their ages, where they're at now, at typically 3 or 4 years old for preschoolers. And then also a list of some of those techniques. In case you weren't taking notes or anything or might not remember, you can take this home and try and implement some of these things in your daily activity so that you can provide that rich language environment for your child. Okay, this is another handout that I think would be pretty handy for you at your home. If your child is at the 3 years at age 3, then you can take a look at this, because these are some important things or clues that you can check for your child's development. And so for the first thing, it says social emotional. And so you can look at that, and that's pretty much talking about their pragmatic skills. So that whether they show affection for friends without prompting, if they take turns in games, or if they show concern, or maybe if they get upset with major changes in their routine. So those are things that kind of that are typical for their age, for their pragmatic skills, for that social environment. And the next thing is some language and communication stages for your child at 3 years. And those are things like following instructions with 2 or 3 steps, saying their first name, knowing their age and their gender, and knowing the names of their friends. And then at the bottom, we've got their cognitive level, their development for learning and thinking and problem solving. So types of things that they should be able to do, like copies a circle with a pencil or turns the pages of a book. And to the right, we have things that you can check whether you need to take your child to see to have an evaluation. So if they fall down a lot or drool or can't work simple toys, they don't speak in sentences or don't understand simple instructions, just the lists that are on there, those are some things that might give you clues that your child may be delayed or could possibly have some type of language or speech disorder, and you could see about referring to your doctor or further to have a speech evaluation. This handout is for your child at age 4. Same thing with the pragmatics, the social emotional, language communication, cognitive, and also movement and physical development as well. So you can take these home with you, and you can pay more attention, I guess, kind of be more aware of your child's development from birth to where they are now. And definitely we encourage you to implement those strategies, those techniques that we talked about, because it's important for your child to have that language environment that you provide as you are with them each and every day. So we all enjoyed being here today and sharing this with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to talk to us or contact us. We'd be happy to discuss more.